Hello. Okay, so I want to share my developing silvers system. It's pretty straightforward. There's really only 3 steps to it. Each step has a few components, but there's really only 3 steps, but there's a few overarching themes that have to be in place for this to work. Number 1 is this can't be about me. It can't be about you, your timeline. You need them to go silver to hit a certain achievement. You have to meet people where they are at. That being said, you also want to be a person who loves people enough to get to know them. So then you know their heart, you know their goals, and you know that their behavior is not serving their goals. So then being able to tough love them, but only for their benefit, not for yours. And that's what I love about this is the more we genuinely pour into and care for and help other people, the better people we are, but also the better our business is going to grow because they're not going to feel used. They're going to become better people and they're going to be able to pour into others, which is what this is all about. Okay, so that's probably the biggest overarching thing is this must come from a place of love and genuinely wanting to help and pour into other people. It cannot be all about you. Number 1. Number 2, you have to, just like we do in the sign up process, have to find the need behind the need. Just like when we helped them sign up, same thing with silver. There's always more than what they tell us. So being willing to ask questions, get to really know them and what their real goals are, and get to know the people in their life because you're going to help them sign those people up. You're building trust with this person. We are influencing, inspiring, and celebrating them to silver. So how did you get them to sign up? This is basically the same steps you're going to use to help them get silver. You did simple. You did send, share, invite. You used third-party tools, you asked good questions, and you send, share, invite. Repeat until they are ready. Okay? So we don't use MLM jargon that will send people running for the hills. We are going to use phrases like, who do you know who could use this? Or if you're celebrating them to silver, my goodness, that's amazing. Who else has noticed this change in you? Or have you considered getting your products paid for? So you can ask those questions, but what you don't want to do is use jargon like silver and rank, etc. People will run for the hills. Okay, ready? Step 1. Step 1 has 4 pieces. Number 1, who do you know? Have them make a list of 10 people, the most important people in their life, or the people who need this the most. But there needs to be 10 people on this list. And then 2, can we call them right now? Ideally, you get on the phone or in a 3-way chat with them right now, and we ask them if they'd be interested in taking a look. Some people will not do a 3-way. That's okay. You cannot force it. But then what you're going to do is you're going to essentially play a game of telephone. You're going to do the send, share, invite system through your person. So if she's like, yeah, my mother-in-law will not get on the phone. Susie says, no, my mother-in-law won't get on the phone. Okay. This is the message that I want you to send her and ask her if she will watch this video. And then you follow up the next day. What did she think about the video? Oh, I don't know. She didn't respond to me. Okay, so send her this message. What did you think about the video? What did you like the best? And then have her tell you. And then when she tells you what the specific, so you are teaching her how to follow up. You're giving her the verbiage. And so then you're also going to be the one to give her the testimony for the share bit, right? And so just basically you're send, sharing, inviting through her game of telephone if they will not get on the phone. And then make her first post. These 4 steps are pretty simple. Making her list. Can we get them on the phone right now? So that's 3-way chats or play a game of telephone. Oh, make your first post and schedule her event. Whether that is an in-person sip and see, a 2-on-1, we get together for coffee and I talk to a couple of her friends, or over Zoom, or we do an online event or a launch event. Any of those options, schedule that. So there's 4 things. Before you move on to step 2, they must complete at least 2 of these. At least 2. They need a list and 1 other thing. Either those 3 ways, or an event, or a first post. Because in step 2, what you're going to do is you're going to get together either over Zoom or in person, and you are going to do some sort of getting to know her test, ideally. I love the Enneagram. This helps me understand where people are coming from, so it helps me address their fears, and it helps me coach them through their hang-ups. Instead of just speaking to what I think, I get to know them a little bit better, and it just helps me be a much better leader and coach. So I like to do a test. It can be the Enneagram, it can be the People Code, it can be the Color Code, whatever you prefer, but something that helps you know them a little bit better so you can be a better coach. And then 2, you are going to help them message at least 10 people. At least those 10 people on their list, you're going to sit there and message them together. If they've done their first post, you're going to follow up with all the likes and comments from that first post. And if they've scheduled their event, you are going to help them with all of their invites. And you're going to or help them follow up to that event. So that's 2 things. You're taking the tests together, and you are doing those messages, and then basically expanding their list to about 20 people. So this is step 2, and you're not allowed to go here until they've completed at least 2 steps in step 1. Then in step 3, we're actually having our event, and you're using those 3-way messages or telephone to help them follow up with their people after the event, and before the event, after the event, and help them close their people. You are spoon feeding one piece of information at a time. Send them this video, what did they say? Send them this testimony, what did they say? And then ideally getting in a 3-way so that you can ask them, it sounds like you're ready to get started. Or are there any other questions that I can answer for you? And if I've answered your questions, do you see any reason why we couldn't get this party started right now? Because remember, this is not a game of tricking people into things. It is a numbers game. They need a certain amount of exposures before they feel educated enough to make a decision. So this is what you're doing. You're teaching them how to guide their people through this process. And then it doesn't stop there. Now that you have access to their new level 1s or level 2s, you're going to do the exact same thing with them. Who do you know who could use this? And if they're open to it, you start doing the exact same process with them. Help them think of their people. Help them make a first post. Help them schedule an event. And what you'll be doing is you'll not only be exposing your level 1 to experiencing it, but then you'll be doing the process with her of bringing up another person. You're creating a leader. You're creating somebody who's not only experienced it, but watched it done. She's learning as she goes. This is how we're going to create people who are like, this is so simple. I could do this. I could help people do this. They do not need intense training until they're super silver or gold people. No, like putting them on all of the team pages and throwing all the information at them. We're continuing to do this super simple system. I feel like maybe a thread where we're all working on silver or gold together might be a good thing, but some people that'll be overwhelming. So it's not necessarily a must, I don't think. Remember, you need to talk like all of the time. If somebody is trying to fast start silver or fast start gold, you need to talk every day. If they're working on this goal like this month, you need to be talking every other day. And if they're more laid back about it, talk a couple of times a week. But just remember, whenever you're not talking, they're getting a lot of no's, and they don't have you there to be encouraging them that this is normal and it's not a personal thing against them. It's not that they suck and they're not good at this. It's just that those people haven't had all the exposures that they need. So every day you're not talking to them, somebody else is, and they're sowing doubt in their minds. So I think the more you guys can talk, the better, and set them up with that expectation right off the bat. When they tell me, yes, I'm ready to work on this, be like, okay, so this is our first thing, and I give them only step 1, and we're going to be talking every day. It's what I'm going to tell them. So it's not me pestering them. I told them this is how it's going to work. And I've also gotten to know them. I know their dreams and their wants, and asked permission to hold them accountable to this, because it's not about my goals. It's not about me being pushy. It's about me helping them achieve their dreams. Okay? Exactly what tools? I would say the simpler the better. The triplex video is probably what I'm going to use 99% of the time as my first thing. Then I'm going to go on the Learning Center to find a specific testimony to share. And then I'm going to put them into whatever event is coming up, whether it's that person's personal event, if they're willing to schedule that, or the upcoming 3-day blitz or the upcoming testimony night. You are sticky, but that's what I'm going to be doing. And then if the person's ready, you sign them up. If they're not, you repeat the process. And that is as simple as it goes. Not going to overwhelm, not going to give them too much information, just one step at a time. All right, that's my philosophy, folks.